Before we start, I want to make it abundantly clear, this is not my theory. I did not come up with this. Frankly, I don't know who came up with this, because so many people have talked about the theory by this point that I'm not sure who the original creator of it is. If you let me know, I will. I can't really mention it in this video once it's done, but if you let me know, I can at least acknowledge who originally came up with this theory. So, I just want to sort of compile the information and get it all just into one video and present it. That's all I'm doing, is just presenting this theory. It's not mine. I didn't make it. I've seen a bunch of people talk about it, and it makes sense to me, and I really want to talk about it. So, as you can gather from the thumbnail and title, this is the Alyx is Liddel theory. So how does this work? How does this theory work? So the Alyx is Liddel theory essentially proposes that Alyx never made it back to Remnant. Alyx is not the one of the two siblings who made it back to Remnant. Instead, Lewis is the one who made it back to Remnant. And Lewis wrote the story, The Girl Who Fell Through the World. This stems from the fact that Lewis is named for the author of the Alice in Wonderland stories, Lewis Carroll. And also the fact that Alice's name is Alice Liddel, which suspiciously sounds a lot like Liddel. So that raises some questions, because this then puts a hole in Jean's interpretation of the story, which we probably should have figured isn't entirely true, because it's just Jean's perspective. And once Alyx poisoned Jean, he kinda wasn't present for the rest of what happened. So he has no idea what actually happened at the tree. He just believes that Alyx became untrustworthy of him. This theory proposes that when they went to the tree, Alyx was the one that was sacrificed. And she ascended. And she ascended into Liddel the mouse, which is why Liddel is such a recent addition to the Ever After. That's why they don't have a purpose, they don't have a name. They're just one of the hunter mice. Because it's such a recent ascension. Additionally, Liddel has been acting as sort of a guide through this world. And we know that Team RWBY have been using the story as a guide as well. And in the intro, we actually see them following Alyx. We don't see them following her in a literal sense because she's blacked out. Because she's not literally there. It's just her presence that's there. And Liddel keeps talking about being their guide. They say, I'll lead the way. I'll be your guide. And then the blacksmith asks Liddel if they are RWBY's guide. And they say yes. Also, who was the first after-in that Team RWBY asked about Alyx? Liddel. Blake asks if Liddel has ever heard of Alyx. And Liddel is just like, Alyx. Is that a purpose? And this part is actually one that I did contribute to the theory. Or at the very least, I came to this one on my own without seeing someone else talk about it first. Which is, Liddel is notoriously sleepy. They love to nap and sleep. They're always asleep on Ruby's shoulder or on her head or wherever. But that ties into Alice, where the entirety of Alice in Wonderland is in her head. It's just her dream. Alice just dreamt the entirety of that story. And I mean, it's kind of a red herring. It's kind of a red herring because the mouse in the tea party in Alice in Wonderland is also sleepy. So it's like, oh, it's just a reference to that, because that mouse is also deathly afraid of cats the same way Liddel is afraid of Blake, or afraid of the curious cat, whatever. So that's a red herring to make you think, oh, Liddel is that mouse, when in reality, Liddel is actually Alyx, who is Alice. At least as opposed to, as proposed by this theory, that's the reality. That Liddel is Alyx post-ascension. So, in that case, what about the story? What about the story? Why is Alyx the only one in the story? And it's probably Lewis's way of symbolically honoring her. So, Alyx is given to the tree, or sacrifices herself to the tree, and ascends into Liddel. This allows for Lewis to return to Remnant and write the story of the girl who fell through the world. In the same way, or not necessarily the same way, but in a symbolic paralleling way, Lewis sacrifices himself by not including himself in the story, by making it solely about Alyx, making Alyx the protagonist, making her the hero, because in his eyes, she is the hero for helping him escape the ever after and be able to return to Remnant. I guess this really just brings into question, how does this tie into Alice's supposed personality? Because Yang describes Alyx as being a mean person, lying and cheating. Weiss kind of defends Alyx and being like, she's trying to survive. It's not a matter of whether she's mean or not. She's just trying to survive. Which, interesting note, lied and cheated so that she could survive happens to be 3 of the 4 things Roman Torchwick said before dying. The other one being steal, which, fun fact, stealing is brought up in that conversation. Who brings up stealing? Yang. Who does she bring it up to? Liddel. She brings it up to Liddel. She says, does the Jinxie peddler steal things from you guys too? And Liddel is just like, steal? Never. Never. Just interesting to me. And there's already kind of a connection there between the story of the girl who fell through the world and not necessarily Roman, but tangentially Roman, through Roman Holiday, because that's actually where the name Alyx came from originally, is when Neo kind of compares herself to Alyx. We knew about the girl who fell through the world in Volume 8, but we didn't know anything about it until Roman Holiday gave us the name Alyx, and then Volume 9 actually took us to the Ever After, where Alyx fell. But anyway, Yang describes her like that, even though Weiss defends her. And Jean describes her as cruel. As selfish, as cruel, as doing whatever it takes to get what she wants. And the cat says that Alyx tricked him. So if that's the case, why, if those descriptions are accurate, why would Alyx sacrifice herself for Lewis when Lewis supposedly is kind and clever, opposite to the tricky, selfish Alyx? Well, I'll be honest, I don't know that part of the theory. It could just be that this interpretation of Alyx just is either exaggerated or not correct. Additionally, we don't know what happened when Alyx talked to the herbalist. We don't know what the herbalist said to her. We don't know how she changed when she went through whatever she went through, akin to what Team RWBY went through. We don't know. We have no idea what happened there. I guess it's entirely possible that Alyx, if she did indeed become distrustworthy of John, is just make the story her own, make it go her own way, which I guess once again ties into Alice in Wonderland, because of the whole find my way home. It's like, there is no way but the Queen's way and all that. This is just where the theory kind of gets a little not incoherent, it's just incomplete, because we don't know everything about Liddel, we don't know everything about Alyx, we don't know if this theory is true. It just holds a lot of weight. Especially, honestly, the naming. The naming is the thing that I think makes it the most. Because the name is also a red herring. It's like, oh, it's a mouse named Liddel. That's Stuart Liddell. It's like, oh, actually, it's actually Alice Liddell. I might make a follow-up to this when Volume 9 is done, or when we have more information. I'm probably going to end up bringing this up in a reaction video if information regarding it turns out to turn up within the next 3 weeks. That's so weird. Volume 9 is already almost done. It feels like it just got here. The 2 years at this point has felt like nothing, but the weeks in between the episodes, those take forever. But it is worth it come Saturday morning. So that's the Alyx is Liddel theory. I'm just putting it out there. It's not my theory. I had that one contribution to it that someone else might have already pieced together at some point. I don't know where the story originated, so whoever came up with the theory, if you know who it is or if it's you, please do let me know on Twitter, on here, whatever. I want to know who originally created the theory so that they can get their proper credit. I just wanted to put the theory out there. So anyway, with the theory said and done, and 3 more weeks of being able to determine if it's true or false, that's going to be it for now. The reaction to today's episode, because I'm recording and probably uploading this on the day that Chapter 7 just came out. If you want to watch that reaction today, the link to the Discord is in the description below, so that you can go there and you'll get the link to see my reaction this week, instead of having to wait until I make it public for everyone next week. Just in case you're interested in that. But until then, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!